toast, cause we still alive. No big, I feel like Pac. I shoot a shot. I'm coming in hot. Yeah, coming in hot. Just like the fajita. I write what I live. My life in the speaker. I'm nice with the flow. Just like the demeanor. I'm feeding my fam. I'm feeding the meter. They got the iron while I got the steamer. I bring the fire, but you never seen her. I testify, I don't need a subpoena. They want my soul, better go to Korea. I love my dog just like I'm Peter. Gotta protect him. I made the call up with just like I'm reffing. I know we left, yeah, now we back together, but I guess that is better now. Later than never, like, what's happening? I'ma need y'all quit asking when. Me and my wife gonna have some kids. Right now we just practicing. Teacher said quit rapping, man. That gon' hurt my average. I said thank God I ain't average. Yeah, I'm a bright young man. Kill the GPA and the BPM. Look, we on. So say what you say, cause that's A with Lecrae. From the A train to the A, I'm coming in hot. I don't do the most, but I do a lot. I'ma make a toast, cause we still alive. No big, I feel like Pac. I shoot a shot. I'm coming in hot. Coming in. Shoot that shot. Hey, why not? Hey, yo, I'm coming in.
Wake 'em up, wake 'em up, wake 'em up, wake 'em up. See him still sleeping, so I had to shake 'em up. I kept it too real. I wasn't faking up. My real life was a headline. Your real life got a deadline. My timeline was a hashtag. Your timeline just a hate crime. Coming in hot, feeling like Pop. Back in 94 when he took 5 shots. Too much drive to ride your wave. Ditch my top and I'm off that lot. Black on black on black on black on black on black on black. You don't have to ball a rap to get them racks on racks. Uber poolers trying to catch my vibe and find my way. Yeah, I know I'm ratchet, but I'm really safe. Hot sauce dripping. Everybody wanna start dipping. First nobody wanna listen. Now everybody pay attention. Now everybody pay fee. Even Trump gotta take a knee. When the horn blow, y'all gon' see. Make the wall fall down like I don't do the most, but I do a lot. I'ma make a toast, cause we still alive. No big, I feel like Pac. I shoot the shot. I'm coming in hot. Coming in hot, coming in hot. Shoot that shot, shoot that shot. Shoot, why not? Hey, why not? Ain't no big. Feel like Pac, We can't lose, we can't stop. Yeah, coming in hot. Coming in hot. Coming in hot. Coming in hot. Shoot that shot. Hey, why not? Hey, why not? Hey, watch out. I'm coming in hot. God make me fresh. Kick 931-615. Yeah. Lil Dilly from the bottom of the map. I ain't gotta have a strap. I still get him with the rap. Hating Dilly, man, you gotta be an idiot. In fact, took the monkey off, then I put the city on my back.
What is going on, everybody? was not given a notice that the video is going to play, so that's on me. But welcome to Exodus. It's going to be a great night. Yeah, there's a lot less people here, but no matter what, it's going to be really fun like it is every week. Going to do some teaching, game, worship, all the fun stuff. Things coming up is Refuel is our big announcement. It's in March 3rd? March 3rd through the 6th, $55 for regular people that come here and $25 for new visitors. It is a great weekend. It's full. It's just so fun just to be around people that love God and just love others and just be able to, hang out and sing, dance, play games, whatever. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun night. I'm not doing the game. You never told me I was doing it. Are you want me to do the game? You said I was doing it. Welcome. That's all I was told.
Hey, thanks, Ethan. Sorry, my bad. Hey, everybody. We are going to do a little game here all together. So last week, Donald started out a new series called New. Thank you. Yeah, it's very easy. We started out a new series called New, so we're going to try a little game here tonight. Before we hit that up, I want to just make sure everybody is clear about Refuel Weekend. Start getting signed up right now. I forgot to tell Ethan, your registration is online. So you can go to fbcbluesprings.org and start getting everything. You can pay online, sign up online, send that link to other friends, get them signed up. They can check if they're new or not so they can pay for less money because we want you to invite tons and tons of people. So it's going to be an awesome time. So we're going to start a little game real quick. It's going to be super, super easy. It goes along with our whole topic. We're going to be asking questions about when is it time to get something new? Like when is it time to replace things? So if you think, actually we're going to get everybody standing up on this one. And so we'll kind of do what we did last week. I think it's, we'll just do left or right side. So we'll just do this side versus this side. So it may be a really simple question like, when should you replace your backpack? And all of their answers are just off of like the average of what makers say they should be. So you just got to guess, when do they tell you you should replace these things for something new? So we're going to do the first one. Our first one will be our first example here, our first try. And we'll tell you which side you're going to be on. So your first one is going to be about mattresses. When do they recommend you should get a new mattress? 4 years or 7 years? So if you think it's 7 years, stay to this side. If you think it's 4 years, just go over to this side over here. 4 years, 7 years, and we'll just let the aisle be the middle here. Every 7 years, every 4 years. Just got to stay on the aisle. The aisle's right here. Whichever side you think it is. 4, 7. All right, Will, let's see who got that one right. If you get it wrong, go sit down. It is every 7 years. So if you're on the 4 side, go sit down. If you're on the 4, go sit down. Every 7 years. Anybody have a mattress older than 7 years? How many of you have the same mattress since you're like a little kid? Like it's never been just filled with dead skin and dust mites just all inside it. Google inside of an old mattress and you'll just see there's a whole ecosystem living in there. It's filthy. All right, next question. What do we got, Will? When should you get new tires? For those of you who are driving, 30,000 miles over here. Or 60,000 miles over here. How often should you replace a good set of tires, I should add? No, you have to know when to replace these things so they don't go bald and you don't wreck. You might die if you have the wrong tire. So this is 30,000. This is 60,000. Red's my mic, though. I don't like the feel of this one. All right, here we go. What do we got, Will? What do we got? 60,000 miles over there. If you are 30, go sit down. All of you that drive, you should know that one. Colin. Well, yeah, If you get the cheapest possible junk tire, 30,000. Don't buy a 30,000 tire, all right? That's the moral of the story. All right. Next one, what do we have? If you're still in. Okay, I'm just going to tell you the answer to this one's wrong, but I'm going with it. Actually, I don't know. I'm not even using this one because it's completely wrong. Just for grins, how many of you say 3 years, replace your hand? How many of you say 5 years? All right, neither one of those are correct if you own a Mac. So I'm not even going to do this one because I disagree with it, but the answer, what was the question on that, Will? Yeah, it says 3 years. I'm just telling you, if you own a Mac, you are not replacing that thing 3 years. I owned my last Mac for over 10 years, all right? It held up just fine. It was on year number 12 until it finally died out. So that's crazy talk. All right, let's do the next one. Let's go. This one will be real. When should you get new shoes? When do they? So this is manufacturer's recommendation. How often should you replace your new shoes? 6 months or 2 years? All right, so this is 6 months over here. This is 2 years over here. And where are we at? You're on this side? All right. Oh, and the answer is, Will, what do you got? Every 6 months. Every 6 months. That's what they say. I don't agree with that at all. Anybody here buying shoes every 6 months? You are? Well, yeah, I guess I clean mine up and then I hand them down to other people. That's what I like to do. All right. Is this all that's left here? These guys? In? All right. Livy's still in. All right, what's the next question? When should you get a new toothbrush? 3 months or every 4 weeks? 3 months or every 4 weeks? I know all of you are thinking, like, both of those answers seem too small, right? Like, 3 months? 3 months? 4 weeks? Do you honestly replace yours every 4 weeks? You're just going with it. All right, what do we got, Will? What's the answer? 3 months, every 3 months. How many of you own the same toothbrush you were using last school year? Yeah. I mean, unless it's falling apart, you're good. You don't need one every 4 weeks. That's crazy. Do what? Yeah, it's just, I mean, you're putting it on there. It's clean. Yeah. All right. What's the next one? Next one is, when should you get new undies? Got the American flag underwear. All right. 2 years or 6 months? Jack's just being real. All right. Jack's being real. 2 years, 6 months. I feel like this could also differ between genders as well. So I don't know what the answer is. Well, not the same pair. It's just like, if you bought a pack of underwear, you got to replace that pack. They say 6 months or 2 years. What's the answer? The answer is every 6 months, they say. No. The correct answer, man, is you wear them till they just start, that elastic falls off. That's what you just keep wearing them. Don't worry about it. Yeah, man. It's just underwear. Just keep going, man. All right, we got two left. 3. Are you still in? You guys haven't moved. That counts as one. That's one family. I know, he's got them all right. All right, what's our next one? I have no idea. When you should get new guitar strings? Every 100 hours or every 300 hours? Is this even a correct? They're just dividing it up. You're saying 300 hours? You're saying 100 hours? What are you saying? What's your answer? You're saying 100 hours? All right, Will, what's the answer, buddy? Every 100 hours. You guys have not moved, and you've continued to, and this is it. Hey, you're still in. It's between you and Livy, all right? Jay doesn't count. He's just there as a prop for Olivia here. All right, let's do one more. One of you has to move on this one. When should you get new AC filters? Every 6 months or every 60 days? Every 60 days or 6 months? I don't know if Michael's a homeowner yet. Will, what's the answer? Every 60 days. Michael, I'm still going to give you the bag of M&Ms because you win. Olivia, I'm going to give you 2 boxes of candy canes because we got to get rid of these. She will get 2 boxes of candy canes, Kelly. I'll give it to her here. Here you go. You get those. Don't let your dad eat them. All right. Hey, so talking about going new. So I was watching Donald's teaching. Just real quick, how many of you have ever been the new kid in the school? How many of you have been the new kid at a school? Not counting like it was your first day of like at a middle school, or like it was like a brand new school, new people, you didn't know anybody. You didn't know. All right. Somebody tell me, just real fast, what was the worst thing about being the brand new student? What was the worst thing? Lindsay, you got your hand raised. What was the worst thing about being new somewhere? Not knowing anything or anyone. Now, is there a best thing about being new? Does anybody have a best thing? Is there like you don't know anyone, so you can be whoever you want? You can just make up whatever you want. What do you think? Well, I mean, if you're new, though, you don't know it yet. What's the best thing about being new? What do you think? Having an excuse to be late to class. That's good. Like, hey, I'm new here. I don't know where I'm going. All right, so there are some things. Now, those of you that were new, you said you were brand new somewhere. When you got that one friend, did that help at all? When you just found one, why did it help? If you got one, like you just met one person, you became friends, why did that help in any way? It comforted you. You're like, I got one person. All right, I got one person. Okay, awesome. So, hey, this is kind of what we're going to be talking about tonight, this idea of being new and trying new things when you at least have someone with you. So I'm going to have the worship band is going to come on up. Colin, can you remind everybody what we did talk about last week when Donald came up and taught as we get ready for worship? I'm going to let Donald talk. We're going to do some worship and have a good, you're not Donald, I'm going to let Colin talk, and then we're going to jump into things. Go for it, buddy.
So yeah, last week we just talked about being renewed in Christ and how with him we can face whatever. And we talked about Joseph, right? And so, Daniel. That's right. I've just been reading about Joseph myself, so that's probably why I'm confused. Anyway, and tonight we're just going to continue that and have a great night and expand on that. So everyone stand up and let's get ready to worship.
Together. Sing with me. I believe that the future is bright. I believe in his promise for me. I believe that he's working and he's not done. The best is yet to come. I know he makes the anxious courageous. I know he makes the doubters believe. I know he won't stop working 'cause he's not found me, you freed me, tell back the waters from my release. Oh Yahweh, come on, sing it out. 'Cause you're the God who fights for me, Lord of every victory. Hallelujah, hallelujah. You have torn apart the sea, you have led me through the deep. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh.
Man, it's been so good to get back into this. I've missed. I feel like it's been like a month since I've seen you all. So it's so good to get back into this place and worship together. And I just am looking forward to a great new semester. And Pastor Randall a couple of weeks ago was talking about putting up a fight. And this last song is all that. Like every day that we're going into our schools, every day that we're walking into our jobs, every day that we're walking into practices and wherever we're at, clubs, wherever you're at. My prayer is that we can look at every situation, not as like we're going in to pick a fight, but every situation that we're going into in life, that we're interacting with people who are far from Jesus, that we can come in with confidence that the battle belongs to Him. So it's not our battle to fight, but it's God's battle to fight and to win over our friends and our classmates. But it's our job to reflect Him. So the way that we can fight is we can pray for each other, we can pray for our friends, we can pray for our classmates who maybe ask tough questions or disagree with us. And the way that we live our lives is a reflection of Jesus, and we're giving it all over to Him. So that's what this last song's all about. And I just encourage you to sing along. Don't hold back.
When all I see is a battle, you see my victory. When all I see is a mountain, you see a mountain move. And as I walk through the shadow, your love surrounds me. There's nothing to fear now, for I am safe with you. So when I fight, I'll fight on my knees with my hands lifted high. Oh God, battle belongs to you. And every fear I lay at your feet, and I'll sing through the night. Oh God, battle belongs to you.
God, we thank you. God, we give you our praise tonight in this place. God, we proclaim that very thing. God, that the battle belongs to you. God, that the truth is that you go before us in all circumstances, that nothing can stand in your way. And God, your power, you are greater than anything that stands against us. God, we proclaim that in this place, and we look forward to getting into your word tonight. We thank you for a time of worship and praise to you. Amen. You guys can have a seat.
That's our topic for tonight. I want you guys to kind of think about this idea. I know it's January, and so you're always supposed to talk about new stuff in January, but I'm not even going to talk about anything brand new. I just want you to think of any time ever where you were in a new situation of any kind. It could be a new class, it could be a new a new team that you were at. Doesn't necessarily have to be like you started out brand new at a school or anything like that. Everyone here has been new at something at some point in time. It may be the first time you started playing baseball, the first time you started swimming, first time you started playing football, first time you picked up an instrument, first time you just showed up anywhere. Maybe one of those classes where you're like, man, I'm going to be new here today, and I don't have a friend in this class. Wherever it was, think about that time where you were new and just that feeling you had, desperately looking for anyone around that you recognized every year. Maybe the cafeteria, you got to know somebody in that, where you're going to sit. That's a very important thing when you first start each semester, each class. When that first day when you come in, you're looking and you're like, oh, who do I know? Because where I sit right now may be where the teacher leaves me the entire semester. Where am I going to sit at? Who do I know? And we're looking around for those people. I still can remember because it was a very fearful moment in my life, my freshman year. I don't know if it was it wasn't new to the area, but it was, you're freshman, you're new to the school. It's a new high school. All of a sudden, they're older kids. And I don't know about for some of you guys. Anybody who's a freshman here? Did any of you guys just, when you first came into school your freshman year, did the seniors look way older than what you thought they were going to look like? Yeah, some of you. I just remember that there was a guy in a senior, and he had a full beard. And I just thought that guy has a beard. I have one leg hair my freshman year. That guy has a beard. I was terrible. It was such a weird thing. And in our school, there was, the way the hallways were set up, there was a couple hallways. It was pretty much just like juniors and seniors were in that hallways at their lockers. And so, when you were younger, you kind of knew to go around that area. And there was these few hallways of lockers that were all just upperclassmen. But I had to get through this hallway to get to a class, and I was running late. I was like, I'll just cut through. And it was called the junior senior hallway. That's what everybody called it. And I kind of knew that, but I was just like, I got to go to my class, and I'm already running late. So I was going to go through there, and I was walking, and I came up behind one of the older guys, and I stepped on the back of his brand new shoes, which, yeah, you already know, all right? I don't know for girls if it's the same thing. I feel like it's bigger for girls now than what it used to be. But this guy had a pair of Jordans, and I stepped on it, and I look, and I can see the scuff I was making as I stepped down. It's brand new, and I'm terrified. And this guy turns around. I assume he was 28, because in my mind, that's how old he looks. I honestly don't remember much about him. I remember he was blonde, and he had a mustache. And I was terrified. And he turns around, and he says some words to me that I cannot repeat to you at church right now. And I'm hearing most of them, but I'm also at that terrified moment where I'm trying not to cry or pee my pants. I'm literally I'm going, and I know, my school is very rough, the one that I grew up at, all right? So this was before cops were at every school. My school was one of the first schools in the entire city that had full-time police officers. We walked through metal detectors to get in our school every day. And so This is not like a fun, like, oops, sorry, buddy. He's like, no problem, kid, on your way. If someone said, like, I might kill you, you might die that day. And so I'm terrified. I stepped on him. He turns around. He says some stuff to me, and it's junior, senior hallway. I don't know anybody on here except for I hear a voice go, hey, leave him alone, man. He's with me. And by the grace of the Lord Almighty, there was my best friend had an older brother. And we had grown up together since I was like 4 years old. And so I was like family to this guy. He's standing there, and he's like, how you know this kid? And he's like, he's my brother, man. I told him to meet me over here. I am saved. And so I just remember thinking, thank you, oh my gosh. Now, this guy was also, like my best friend's brother was also considered kind of like a tough guy. He was one of those guys that, like everybody's got that group of friends and there's the one crazy friend. Well, this crazy friend is like, I'll go to jail type of crazy. So he was the kind of guy like when you were younger, like he's so cool. And then when I got older, I was like, he might have been a psychopath. But at the time, I was so happy and I thought, oh my gosh, he's there. And I came over and the guy was just like, oh, all right, man, hey, you got to be careful, man. You got to be careful where you walk, and walked off. And all of a sudden, I had this very false sense of confidence where I was like, yeah, man, just be cool about it. And I walk over, and I was with my friend, and he was like, hey, you got to be careful. You cannot step on people's shoes around here. I was like, I know, because I don't know if y'all remember, like my freshman year, I'm 5'3". I'm 5'3", 108 pounds. You shouldn't be stepping on anybody's shoes, not even a girl's shoes. I would have been scared of most of the girls in my high school, honestly, at that point, let alone one of these guys. And so I'm just like, okay, man, thanks. And I just remember that feeling when I heard him say, hey, he's with me, all of a sudden being like alone and scared, literally for my life, to being like, somebody's there with me. He's got my back. This is like, I'm good now. I'm good. Knowing somebody is there with you when you're going through stuff. We kind of joked earlier when you're new or new to anywhere, like even like, when you go to the cafeteria and you don't know anybody and you see that one familiar face. And we kind of joke about this all the time at the beginning of the school. You're like, oh, thank goodness. Like, I don't have to sit by myself or sit with like some, random people. Like, I got a friend I can go to. That feeling of knowing somebody is there that that you recognize all of a sudden can help out so much, having those people by your side. And what we're kind of talking about is just the importance of when you are trying something new. It doesn't always have to be like a scary thing. Just even if you're just trying something new and you have a friend there with you, all of a sudden it makes it easier. And even if it's like something stupid where it's like, you're going to eat something for the first time or you're going to try something for the first time. You could go like trying on new clothes. And some of you take your friends with you just to try on new clothes to get their opinions. Just be like, now how does this look? Should I wear it? Can I pull this off? And your friends are right there with you. You feel comfortable because you know they're with you. And anytime you try something new, it's good to know you got somebody by your side. And I think one of the cool things and one of the bad things about that is I think there's a lot of times when we are making steps of faith, no matter where it is, because even in this crowd, all right, even though this might be half our crowd, even in a crowd this size, there are some of you that have been living a Christian life for a while, and your new step may be something of a different maturity, something new that you are trying or growing deeper in your walk with God. There may be some of you in here tonight that you just come to church just because you thought, okay, I'll just go try it, I'll check it out, and you've just been coming, and your new thing may just be like finding out or asking questions about Christianity. You may be making a new step. And one thing that I think holds us back more than almost anything else, why we don't always try to take new steps in our faith, is because we are afraid of being alone in that. We are afraid of, what if I start going deeper in this relationship with Jesus and it changes what I have to do, and I don't want to be alone. I don't want to get disinvited from stuff, or maybe some of my old friends won't include me anymore in some of the things, or if I really start looking into who God is, because maybe you're not a Christian, but like if I start asking questions and maybe I want to start going to church more. Maybe you start wondering like, my friend's going to kind of do this with me, or am I going to be alone in this? You might come from a household that no one in your house is a believer, and you're doing something new on your own here, and it makes it tough. And I've seen this enough, whether it's adults or students, to know that so many times men and women do not become the version of who God knows they can be because they're afraid to make that step out. They think they're going to do it alone. I still to this day remember, it was my first year in ministry, full-time ministry, and I still can see her face across from my desk just almost in tears, and she's just thinking, I know what's right. I know how I want to live as a Christian. There's a senior, and this young lady's across from me, and she's saying, I know how I should live, but I'm so afraid if I start living for God that I'll just be all alone, and I won't have people around me. And she was just so scared of being who she could have been because of being alone. And I think our lesson today, when we're going to continue to look at Daniel, we're going to look at chapter 2 in Daniel and see how, Daniel was this guy who, if you remember what Donald talked about, maybe you weren't here, so just real fast, Daniel was this Jewish guy from Israel, and this king over Babylon. Babylonian Empire was a huge, mighty empire at the time, and they were sweeping over and just crushing different people around them, and they were kind of just like, we'll wipe out everybody, and we will take the best and the brightest of the people we capture, and we'll bring them back to our empire and try to make them one of us and see how well they do. We're just going to keep the best of the best out of everybody. Whoever gets picked last in dodgeball, you're not going to be with us, all right? We'll put you into, we'll make you do hard labor. I want the best of the best, and that's what the king would do. He was taking these people, and Daniel was one of those people. He kind of came from some royalty, some high line, some upper class area, and so they're like, all right, you, and they were taking some of these people, some of these Israelites, and bringing them back, and they were saying, we want you to do what we do. And last week, Donald said, hey, he was this new guy, and although Daniel's family and his relatives did not follow after God, and he felt that because our people, girls, didn't follow after God, God allowed them to be conquered. And so Daniel thought, I'm going to follow God. I have a new chance. I'm in a new place, and I'm going to take a step and follow God. And that's kind of where Donald picked up with Daniel last week. How when he started becoming this new person in God, how God started doing some amazing things. And so what happened was, I'm going to pick up where Donald left off. Daniel began rising up in ranks. And King Nebuchadnezzar kind of allowed him and 3 of his friends who also said, we are going to be new in this faith, and we are going to follow God. And that was Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who had different names, their original different Hebrew names. But these 4 guys said, we're going to be something new. And they all became what were considered wise men among the people, what do you call just advisors, all right? They helped the king, helped the rulers, helped the politicians. They're like, we'll come to them when we need advice. And so this is kind of where we're at. Now, chapter 2 is kind of crazy. I'm just going to tell you. There's some crazy stuff going on here, and you're going to kind of see the mindset of King Nebuchadnezzar, who was king over this empire at the time, and just how crazy kings could be, all right? Kings could do whatever they want, and that's just how it was. If I could look at it and be like, hey, Colin, you got a Dr. Pepper on you? I need a Dr. Pepper. And Colin's like, no, I don't. And he'd be like, Ethan, kill Colin. That's the kind of the temperament a king could have. They didn't have to answer to anybody, and so Ethan would be like, oh, I don't want to die. Stab, 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 stab. Sorry, Colin. And Colin would be dead. It was like that. That's the type of power a king had, all right? There was no voting, no protesting, no anything else. You didn't have any rights under the king. And so here's our king, Nebuchadnezzar, all right? In Daniel chapter 2, and this is some funny stuff, it's also crazy. So in Daniel chapter 2, and you guys can follow along, most of the verses are going to be up here. In the 2nd year of his reign, Nebuchadnezzar had dreams, and his mind was troubled, and he could not sleep. So he's having bad dreams. He's having these dreams, these reoccurring dreams over and over and over of the same thing, and it's bothering him. So the king summoned the magicians, enchanters, sorcerers, astrologers to tell them what he had dreamed. Now, often a king, especially in this empire, they were going into the mystic areas. They're like, well, I want they really put a lot of their belief and their power in just a lot of mysticism. These magicians, before we even speak to the wise men, I want to know what these guys have, because they are maybe they have special powers and they could tell me. And so he goes to them to tell them what he had dreamed. And when they came in and stood before the king, he said to them, I've had a dream that troubles me, and I want to know what it means. So, he's had bad dreams. He wants to know, what does this dream mean? I'm confused. It's bothering me. I need to know what is going on in these dreams. So, go on to the next verse in chapter 5. It said, the king replied to them, this is what I've decided. If you do not tell me what my dream was, think about what he's saying right here, okay? If you don't tell me what my dream was and interpret it, I will cut you into pieces and your houses turn into piles of rubble. I want to pause right there so you can see what the king is saying. Now, again, imagine, all right? Imagine I come up to our ladies up here and it's like, girls, I had a dream last night. Tell me what it was. What do you have to go off of? Nothing, right? But I'm saying, tell me what it was. Tell me what I dreamed. What's your response? Ethan, chop them all up into pieces and destroy their house. Again, sorry, Colin, you didn't have a Dr. Pepper. These girls couldn't tell me what I dreamed about. This is what Nebuchadnezzar is doing. Because he felt like they were going to cheat if he told them what the actual dream was. So he's like, if you can interpret it, you got to tell me what I dreamed. This is an impossible task, right? We all agree. If someone comes up to you and is like, I had the craziest dream last night, what are you expecting them to do? Yeah. And you're like, all right, what was it? You tell me. Dun, dun, dun. All right, like he's giving them a thing that's impossible to do. And so he says, but if you can tell me the dream and then explain it to me, you will receive gifts and rewards and great honor. So, tell me the dream and interpret it for me. Time's click. All right, we're on the clock now. And if you don't tell me, don't forget I'm going to chop you up. Look, he says I'm going to chop you into pieces, by the way. And then, not just like, and I might like break a window in your house, I will turn it into rubble. I will destroy your entire house, because he is putting these people on the spot. And so, their reaction was the same as yours, all right? They respond in the same way. So go to the next one. I think I put the next one in here. Yeah. The astrologers answered the king, there's no one on earth that can do what the king asks. No king, however great and mighty, has ever asked such a thing of anyone, all right? What the king asks is too difficult. No one can reveal it to the king except the gods, and they do not live among humans. Now, it's kind of cool because what they do is say, no living person could possibly do that. Like, only, like, a God could do that. We can't answer that for you. So what are we supposed to do? Like, we're stuck here. We don't know how to answer this, but that's not what the king wanted to hear. So, the king then, all right, just says no one could reveal it. And then the decree was issued. All right. This made the king so angry and furious that he ordered the execution of all the wise men of Babylon. So he goes and does what he said he was going to do. He's like, all right, well, you can't answer it. You're all dead. I'll just start fresh with a new batch of people. Remember, people meant nothing to this king. He just killed them all and then bring up the next group of wise men. And so he's like, I'm going to kill all of you, like all of your little magicians, mystics, all you people that tell me like you know best, and I'm going to kill all the wise men too. Now, they weren't even in the room, but they're all going to die also, which doesn't seem fair, right? Does not seem fair at all. And so what happens is the commander of the king's guard, he'd gone out to put to death the wise men. So I think he's out just killing people at this point in time. So it sounds like this guy was out just murdering people. And then he comes over to Daniel, and they find Daniel. And Daniel spoke to him, and he said, why did the king, hold on, before you murder me, before you go killing people, why did the king do this? Daniel has no clue what's happening here. And so he tells him about what happens. And at this, he's like, let me go talk to the king first, then you can kill me. Like, the wise men don't know anything about this. We don't have a clue. So he's in this moment of fear. He's in this moment of panic. But he's like, I need to go talk to the king. Give me the night. So he goes and tells the king, give me one night. Give me throughout the night. If I come back to you and if I'm able to answer you, let everybody live. If I can't, I guess you're going to murder us. That's fine. And so Daniel, who's now living this new life, this life following after God, this life saying, I believe that if we follow God, that God will we will show people even in this land, even though it's not our land, we will do what Israel was supposed to do. We will show people what happens when we put our faith in God. And so he is having this moment of, I don't know what else to do. So when you're in that moment and you are living this new faith in God, and it's probably been about 2 or 3 years of living this, he does the only thing he knows to do, right? He goes and he turns to his other friends, the only other people he knows that are following after God. And so that is where he ends up, and he returns to his house, and he explains the matter to his friends, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, who was Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, same people. The only 3 people that he knows who are following after God. He only has one shot. He's like, I got to take this to God. There is no other way. This is an impossible task. But I know I have 3 friends. I got 3 people that also have the same faith, 3 people I can lean on, 3 people that we can say, hey, we got to sit down and we got to pray together. And so he goes to them. It says he urged them to plead for mercy from the God of heaven concerning this mystery, so that he and his friends might not be executed with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. So he goes to them and says, we have to pray. We have to pray like we've never prayed. We got to pray like our lives depend on it, because it does. And everything depends on what we are about to do, because only God is going to get us through this. And I love that he goes straight to the only 3 believers he knows. He realizes, I am not alone in this. And if I'm going to be terrified this whole night and praying to God, I'm going to go to the other 3 guys that I know have the same faith that I know. I know that at least I'm not going to be sitting alone all night praying. At least I'm not going to be terrified in my house all by myself. I'm going to go to these other 3 guys, and we will do this together. And so they pray. And during the night, it says this mystery was revealed to Daniel in a vision. And Daniel praised the God of heaven. And so I want to skip down because it kind of goes through about his praise to God and what was happening here. And Daniel in verse 27, Daniel comes and he says, no wise man, enchanter, magician, or diviner can explain to the king the mystery he has asked about. So he makes sure the king knows, look, no living person could do what you asked. But there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries. He has shown Nebuchadnezzar what will happen in the days to come. And he says, your dream and the visions that pass through your mind as you are lying in bed are these. And he begins to explain to him all of this dreams. He's like, and here's what your dreams mean. And here's what God is trying to show you. And he begins kind of telling him about things that are going to happen in his kingdom and about what Nebuchadnezzar needs to do. And he's like, here's what God said. And God's trying to warn you if you want your kingdom to do these things. He's telling him all of these things. And I'm not going to go through all that because that's not the main point of what we're trying to talk about here. But he explains everything to him. But he makes it a point of saying no person could have done this. It wasn't because me and my 3 friends. It was because what God did. And so then it says, then after he explains everything, and Nebuchadnezzar's like, you're right. That's exactly what it was. And he's amazed. And it says, King Nebuchadnezzar fell prostrate, just fell down before Daniel, and paid him honor and ordered that an offering and incense be presented to him. And then the king said to Daniel, surely your God. Now this is huge. This mighty empire that destroyed Israel, that relied on magicians and mystics and all these people to give him advice. He now is telling Daniel, surely your God is the God of gods and the Lord of kings and a revealer of mysteries, for you were able to reveal this mystery. So Nebuchadnezzar has this moment of saying, your God is the one true God. Why? Because Daniel and 3 other guys a few years back said, we are going to live a new life. We are going to live this life with God. And even this was a huge step of a new step of faith for Daniel. Literally his life. He's putting his life on the line here saying, but I am doing something new. I'm living this life for God. And our people never did this. They haven't done it in a long time, but we are doing this now. And during that moment, he turns to his friends. And because of that, Nebuchadnezzar says, your God is the God of gods. He ends up not killing all these people. And Daniel saved the lives of thousands of people. But all of the glory was given to God. And I think there's some amazing things there, guys. When Daniel, when his back was up against the wall, he realized, I'm not alone. And I think that is so huge for everyone in here to really think about. This idea that when we make that stand, when we're desiring to, like, maybe God is stirring something in your heart, and you're just like, I don't know because of the change it might make in my life. I don't know because I don't know if I have all the answers or not, but I'm too afraid to ask other people. I don't know because I have doubts, and I think I want to follow after God, but if I ask questions, people are going to think, like, you know, they're not going to want to talk to me about it, or maybe people at church will get mad at me, and I can't ask these questions to my non-Christian friends because they'll just make fun of me for it. And so maybe you feel like you're alone in that. Maybe the decisions you're making are something new, and you're afraid how it'll affect you. You'll afraid it'll affect your friendships or your dating life, or you're afraid it'll affect other things going on. I mean, I still can remember being a kid, and they were talking about this great faith, and there was a missionary speaking, and this missionary was, I don't even remember where they were from some other country. And I can remember sitting there thinking, oh no, like if I get to be like too serious about God, God's going to send me to a foreign country by myself. I don't want that. And having this weird fear, like if I really start taking a step of faith, that's what God's going to do to me. And that wasn't the case at all. God, over and over and over, like these men and women were never alone. They always had other people being like by their side. And I think for you all, that's so important to remember. Even just in this room, to remember that the things, whatever new thing that may be on your heart, that may be some sort of step of faith, knowing that you have other people by your side, that you're never alone. You know, if you come on Sunday mornings, you know that every one of you has a leader that is by your side, that you don't have to walk through things alone. One of my favorite things about for our high school when they meet for focus is it's just cool to look around the room and say, like, all of these guys are asking questions and they're reading through this stuff, and they know that there's other people in this room that are there by their side for them. Even on our Sunday morning in our small groups, even just leading with the 6th grade guys, and they're like, well, this is coming up in my life, and what can we be praying for? And for them to know, like, I don't have to do this stuff alone. Whatever it is, when we are stepping out into something new, knowing that you have other people by your side. And if you're sitting there thinking, I don't think I have that person in my life, well, I'm telling you, you have a whole group of people. But if you feel like I don't have that one close friend, and I'll say this, and I know I keep saying, you're like, Rob, you've said this so many times before, because it's true. Start praying for those people in your life. Pray that God puts those people in your life that you know, when my back's up against the wall and someone's about to murder my family and make my house a pile of rubble, I know I can turn to these 3 guys or these 3 ladies. Now, hopefully it's never that extreme. I don't know what you're getting into these days, but I'm just telling you, pray for those people that you have, that you know you don't have to be alone, that you have something new. And I want to encourage you guys for this semester to start praying. If you're like, I don't know if I'm stepping into anything new, like I don't know if I'm in a new part of my faith, I'm challenging us as a student ministry. We need to be praying for something new to start happening. We need to start praying for something new to start taking place on Wednesday nights, for something new to start taking place in the lives of our students and in your own life. Start praying that God starts doing something new. I mean, even, it's natural. It happens almost every year. We start doing some incredible stuff in the fall semester, and then we hit that winter break, and it's like we just take 5 steps backwards in everything. Even like how we worship tonight. 4 weeks, gosh, it's been over a month now. There would have been, 40, 50 people up here, front row, clapping and singing, hands raised and praising. And it's like, we haven't done this for a while. And I watched from the back row, I watched 3 or 4 of you kind of like make one step, and you looked around, and you did exactly what we're talking about tonight. You're like, well, I'm not going to be the only one standing up there by myself. I don't want to be alone in that matter. Like, let's start praying that God does something new in your heart individually and in our student ministry. Let's not keep seeing the same things. Let's know, hey, we got a God that can do amazing things. We got a God that can open up and do some incredible things in our lives and the lives of our friends and the lives of other people around us when we start giving it over to Him. When we realize I'm not alone in this, I have other friends that can do this with me, and I want to grow in my relationship with God because I want to see that overflow into the lives of those around me, that we want to see something new take place. We have a lot of great things coming up, and I pray for you and for your hearts that you start letting God do something new wherever you're at. Whether you've been walking with Him for a long time or it's your first time to church or it's been a long time, that God starts stirring up something new in your life so you can start looking back in the months to come and go, man, look how much has changed even in our own ministry. God started doing something new, and we were not alone in it. We did this together. So as you go on tonight, we're going to kind of end with just a little bit we're going to end with just a song. And Cece's going to kind of close us up after that. But I just want you to be challenged as you guys are finishing up with this song, just thinking, God, what is it that's new in my heart? What is it that you would stir up in me that you're desiring for me to be? Because for a sixth grader, it's going to be different than a senior. For those of you that have grown up in church and you consider yourself a strong believer, what's new in your heart is going to be different than maybe someone if you're just started checking this stuff out. Your new thing, maybe, I'm going to ask my friend, why do you believe in Jesus? That might be your new thing. That's okay. Know that you're not alone in any of this stuff. Allow God to start doing something new. And so start praying, God, what is it that you want in my life that's new? And know that you're not alone in that journey. If you feel like you are, start praying that. Pray, God, bring me some of those friends. I need some of those friends like Daniel had that I can stand by me. But even if you don't have that person, just know you got leaders and you have other people in this room that care about you, that know you're not alone in any of this. So I want you guys to stand up. I'm going to kind of pray, and then we'll wrap up with worship, and Cece will close us out. God, I do pray for new things, Lord. I pray that you will stir the hearts of our students. And in the same way that Daniel, when he was faced with this new challenge, he ran to his friends and said, let's all pray. Let's pray about whatever's taking place here, that God will be with us, and let's give the glory to God. God, I pray that that's what can start to take place amongst our students, that they will seek out what you want new in their hearts, and that they will start praying with their friends or just asking questions or talk to a leader and pray that some new things start taking place in their lives and the lives of this place and the lives of their friends, God, that they know they can turn to other people. God, we thank you, and we do pray for something new to begin sparking, to start up here in our lives and in this place of this ministry, Lord. Amen.
You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. You give life.
God has placed those people in your life for a reason, and we were not created to do life alone. And if you haven't found those people yet in your life, I just encourage y'all, like Rob said, just to pray about it and pray and pray and pray about it. And I know for me, something that's been new and something that's been a little tough is my dance team. And I'm not gonna lie, it's been pretty hard, but because I have those people in my life who are coming alongside of me and saying, hey Sierra, we got you, you're not alone, and who point me to Jesus, it's so much easier. So with all that being said, high schoolers, we have Focus this Sunday at 3:30 because the Chiefs game is at a weird time. So yeah, thanks for coming.